The Amazon rainforest, the largest remaining tropical wilderness in the world, remains largely unexplored and conceals some of the most bizarre and astonishing discoveries. From the world's largest spider to a recently unearthed mysterious creature, here are 20 of the strangest things discovered in the Amazon. Number 20. Bullet ant. It's not difficult to understand how the bullet ant got its name once you've been bitten by one. Also known as the 24-hour pain ant, this tiny but terrible insect found in rainforests delivers one of the most painful stings in the world. It's said to feel like getting shot, hence the name. In fact, according to the Schmidt Pain Index, a scale for insect stings and bites, the bullet ant ranks at 4.0+. People unfortunate enough to get bitten by this ant describe the sensation as waves of burning, throbbing, all-consuming pain lasting up to 24 hours. Well, that's a considerable amount of pain, considering it's delivered by something as big as a paperclip. But what causes this pain? The secret lies in a toxin, which is a potent neurotoxin that causes intense pain and can affect muscle and nerve functions. But don't worry, although excruciating, the sting isn't fatal to humans. However, this isn't enough reason to risk getting bit by one. These ants also most likely aren't interested in biting you unless they think you're a predator. But just in case you find yourself in the Amazon, you better watch the base of trees where these ants like to stay with their colonies. Number 19. Goliath bird eater. Is anyone here afraid of spiders? If your answer to that is yes, then it's likely that you won't be too thrilled about this creature. Introducing the Goliath bird eater, just as its name suggests, this is the biggest arachnid in the world. Its body can stretch up to a staggering 5 inches long. That's as big as a small puppy. And when it stretches its legs, it can cover a dinner plate. Yes, you heard that right, a dinner plate. The spider can weigh over 6 ounces and has a leg span that can reach up to 11 inches. If you're worried about encountering this creature, you don't need to worry about seeing it in real life unless you live in the rainforests of South America, specifically Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana. These massive creatures prefer staying under the radar in burrows underground. Yes, these creatures can dig underground using their fangs. But that being said, their fangs are large enough to pierce human skin. However, don't worry, despite its fearsome appearance and weaponry, the Goliath bird eater is relatively harmless to humans. Its bite is about as potent as a wasp sting, and it's not venomous enough to cause serious harm to us. And while it is named a bird eater, its diet rarely consists of birds. Instead, this arachnid prefers preying on insects, small mammals, and amphibians. The Goliath bird eater uses its strength and stealth to ambush its prey at night, injecting them with venom that liquefies their insides. Well, let's be glad that it doesn't have the same effect on us humans. Number 18. Mapping Guari. There are a lot of alleged creatures that reside in the Amazon, and the mapping Guari is undoubtedly among the most terrifying. Also known as the roaring animal or fetid beast, the mapping Guari is a creature that allegedly resides in the Amazon in Brazilian folklore. This creature was described as a former human shaman, transformed into a hairy humanoid cyclops with a gaping mouth on its abdomen and feet turned backward. Horrifying, don't you think? In the latter half of the 20th century, some cryptozoologists speculated that it might be an unknown primate akin to Bigfoot, with a height of about 7 feet and matted reddish fur. Others suggested it could be a modern-day sighting of a giant ground sloth known as Megatherium, which roamed South America until the end of the Pleistocene era. These creatures were massive, reaching sizes comparable to elephants, and lived alongside early humans. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the legend of the mapping Guari continues to thrive, with reported sightings keeping the mystery alive. In fact, to this day, the existence of the mapping Guari is still a topic of debate among scientists and cryptozoologists. While many dismiss its existence, others believe this massive cryptid is more than just a figure in folklore. Number 17. Bull shark. Bull sharks are creatures that are usually found in salt water. However, some of them manage to survive both in saltwater and freshwater. This particular group resides in the Amazon. They've been found thousands of miles upriver, deep into freshwater habitats. But how exactly do these guys manage to survive in different waters? The secret lies in their extraordinary physiological adaptation that allows them to regulate the salt concentration in their bodies. This process, known as osmoregulation, enables them to maintain the right balance of salt and water, whether in the saline ocean or the freshwater rivers and lakes. Bull sharks have been found as far inland as the Amazon basin, demonstrating their incredible ability to adapt. This unique skill allows them to expand their hunting grounds, giving them access to a range of prey in diverse environments. Scientists believe this adaptation has contributed to their wide range and reputation as one of the most dangerous shark species. Despite their fearsome reputation, these sharks most likely won't mindlessly attack humans. However, it is a fact that this particular species is known to be the most dangerous, as they've been observed to give a curious and aggressive nibble on humans. So, in case you see a shark fin in the water, make sure to avoid it as much as possible. Number 16. Capybara. Now it's time to feature my favorite animal, or should I say ours? I bet I'm not the only one who's fascinated by this creature. This enormous guinea pig-looking creature is the largest living rodent on Earth. It's native to South America, and it's known not just for its size, but for its cuteness and friendliness. These creatures can grow up to 4.4 feet in length and tip the scales at a whopping 201 pounds, as seen in the case of the heaviest wild female recorded in Brazil. But on average, they hang around the 77 to 147 pound mark. Unlike most rodents that prefer to stay on dry land, these creatures lounge around swamps, rivers, and marshes, where they're friends with most creatures, from prey to predators. These creatures seem to not have a care in the world. They're so chill that they often hang out with a variety of other animals, including birds, monkeys, and even crocodiles. Yes, crocodiles. Funnily enough, even crocs don't want to harm them. Now, you're probably wondering what these creatures eat. Well, their diet is pretty straightforward, just grass and more grass and sometimes their own poop. Gross, right? But it's a nifty trick that lets them extract all the nutrients from their food to make sure they got every last particle. There's also a reason why they like sitting near bodies of water. That's because they're excellent swimmers. Contrary to popular belief, they can even hold their breath underwater for up to 5 minutes to hide from predators. Yes, there are still creatures that prey on these adorable rodents, particularly jaguars, anacondas, and eagles. In recent years, capybaras have gained a bit of internet fame, and it's easy to see why. They're remarkably photogenic and have a demeanor that's, as the internet says, therapeutic to look at. In fact, many parks around the globe have capybaras chilling in hot springs, and many people would pay money to see these creatures relaxing and being happy. Now it's time for today's topic. In the heart of the Amazon jungle, a team of explorers set out on a routine expedition, but what they encountered was anything but ordinary. As they ventured deeper into the dense forest, their cameras accidentally captured something lurking in the murky waters, a massive, terrifying creature. The explorers initially thought it was a large crocodile, but the footage revealed something far more unsettling. The beast had jagged teeth, spiked armor-like scales, and a size that dwarfed any known animal in the region. Panic set in as the team realized they had stumbled upon a creature no one had ever documented before. Locals in nearby villages have long whispered about a monstrous being in the jungle, but these stories were often dismissed as myths. However, this terrifying encounter seemed to bring those tales to life. Upon reviewing the footage, scientists suggested that the creature could be a mutant black caiman, possibly altered by environmental factors deep within the Amazon. The chilling encounter has raised questions about what other undiscovered creatures might be lurking in the uncharted depths of the world's largest rainforest. One thing is for certain, this discovery has left both the explorers and the scientific community in awe and fear of what lies beneath the surface. Number 15. Karoo fish. If there is a reason why locals aren't inclined to swim the waters of the Amazon recklessly, you probably wouldn't believe that it's because of a fish. Yes, you heard that right, one small fish. This is the karoo, also known as the vampire fish. These guys are tiny, often not much larger than a few centimeters, but because of the stories surrounding them, many people fear encountering them in the wild. You see, the karoo is a parasite, and the way it latches onto its victims can be quite horrifying. It uses its spiny mouth to attach itself to the gills of larger fish, where it feasts on its host like a vampire. But that's not the end of it. There are claims that the karoo can also sometimes prey on humans by swimming into the urethra of people who are cluelessly swimming in the water. Now, this idea has been met with skepticism by many scientists, who argue that such behavior would be highly unlikely and is not supported by evidence. Yet, many continue to be cautious around these creatures, and honestly, I would too. As if that wasn't enough, the kangaroo's sharp spines can make removing it extremely difficult, and it often requires surgical intervention. Additionally, the fact that this tiny creature has inspired such fear in the local populations further amplifies its notorious reputation. Better to be safe than sorry, after all. Number 14. Corpse flower. The corpse flower, scientifically known as Amorphophallus titanum, is native to Sumatra, Indonesia. However, it can also be found in the Amazon, where they're known as mortia. This massive flower can reach over 10 feet in height when fully grown. However, its size isn't what makes it special. You see, this flower doesn't bloom often, but when it does, it's a captivating sight. The Titan arum only blooms once every 7 to 10 years, and although beautiful and captivating to look at, it emits a pretty bad smell. Not just bad, but a pungent odor similar to that of burning flesh. Once you smell this flower, it's pretty easy to guess how it got its name. But why on earth would a flower want to smell like the dead? Well, it's because they're trying to attract pollinators. Unlike most flowers, the pollinators of these flowers aren't bees and butterflies, but carrion beetles and flesh flies. They think they're getting a delicious dead animal to feast on, but surprise, it's just a big, stinky flower. Now, to make this smell extra pungent, the flower heats up to help spread it, ensuring it reaches the noses of any interested insects in a process known as thermogenesis. Now, if you're wondering who in their right mind would want to go near this thing, you'd be surprised. The blooming of a corpse flower is a major event for botanical gardens lucky enough to have one. People flock from all over to experience the bloom, despite the smell. Has anyone ever seen this flower before? If so, let us know about your experience in the comments down below. Number 13. Decoy building spider. The decoy building spider is another interesting arachnid, although not as horrifying as the Goliath bird eater. Just as their name suggests, these creatures like creating decoys of themselves to confuse and deter predators. The spiders meticulously craft them from prey remains, silk, and other available materials to resemble a spider, often several times their size. Some even go as far as adding legs to these decoys, making them look like a larger version of themselves. At least, we think that these spiders are trying to scare away their predators, but no one knows for sure why these spiders create decoys. Research suggests these decoys might also play a role in prey attraction. How? Well, the larger decoy might appear as a more substantial threat or competitor to other insects, effectively scaring them straight into the web. But again, no one knows for sure, as we need to study these arachnids more to understand them fully. So, the next time that you see a massive spider, just check whether it's real before you run away from it. Then again, a decoy spider made with dead insects sounds worse. Number 12. Patu. The patu is a creature that looks quite unreal. With a wide, gaping mouth and large yellow eyes, it either looks goofy or horrifying. There's no in-between. Despite their eye-catching yellow eyes, these birds are the masters of camouflage. Their features allow them to blend seamlessly with tree branches, so much so that you could touch one or get near one without noticing them. These guys prefer sitting motionless on a tree, perfectly mimicking a broken branch. This camouflage protects them from predators and allows them to rest and catch some sleep during the day. When night falls, however, this bird begins its quest for food. It feeds on a diet of flying insects, catching them in flight with its impressively large mouth. This nocturnal hunter relies on its excellent night vision to spot its meals in the dark, swooping silently to snatch up unsuspecting prey. But perhaps what the patu is best known for is its eerie call, a mournful and haunting sound that reverberates through the night. This call has woven the patu into local folklore, with stories and myths attributing supernatural qualities to it. The sound can vary from a low moan to a high-pitched wail that can be pretty eerie. Now, perhaps there are people out there who have already seen a patu in the wild. If that's the case, I'm interested to hear your thoughts about this creature in the comments down below. Number 11. Victoria amazonica. Imagine a lily pad that can support the weight of a small child. It might sound impossible, but there's a lily pad species in the Amazon that does just that. With leaves reaching up to 10 feet in diameter, Victoria amazonica is the largest in the world and one of the most robust. But aside from its size, the flowers of this lily pad species are captivating. These blooms are pure white, but at dusk, this color changes into a stunning pink. To reproduce, they emit a sweet, pineapple-like scent to attract pollinators like beetles, playing a crucial role in the ecosystem's survival and reproduction. The giant lily pads also offer shelter for aquatic creatures underneath, creating a unique microhabitat within the ecosystem. Additionally, the edges of the pads curve upward, which helps prevent water from spilling onto the surface, adding to their buoyancy. Interestingly, the Victoria amazonica is not only a biological marvel but also a symbol of strength and beauty in many cultures around the Amazon. This massive plant can be found in botanical gardens around the world, captivating onlookers with its sheer size and elegance. Number 10. The mysterious Amazon rings. In recent years, we've discovered something quite interesting in the Amazon. Rings spanning almost 1,000 feet wide. These rings are etched into the ground of the Brazilian Amazon. They're not only massive but also ancient, with estimates suggesting they were created between 500 and 2,000 years ago. However, we're clueless about the people who built them or their purpose. All we know is that they were created by a pre-Columbian civilization that thrived long before Europeans set foot in the Americas. Before, the thick canopy of the Amazon rainforest concealed these formations, but as deforestation has peeled back layers of jungle, the rings have revealed themselves. But what do these rings mean? Simply put, the Amazon wasn't an untouched wilderness before European colonization. On the contrary, people were already occupying the Amazon before explorers arrived. Research into the purpose of these rings is ongoing, but there are several theories. Some scientists propose that the rings served as defensive structures, protecting inhabitants against invaders or wildlife. Others suggest they had a ceremonial or religious significance, possibly relating to astronomical events or serving as gathering places for social events. There's also speculation that they were involved in agriculture, perhaps as a way to manage water or enrich the soil in an otherwise challenging environment. However, we need more research to confirm these theories. Number 9. The Maroxy. Aside from the mapping Guari, the Maroxy is another ape-like, Bigfoot-like creature said to roam the Amazon. It was said that this creature stands anywhere from 2 to over 12 feet tall. Reports and tales describe them as primitive, wielding bows and arrows, and sometimes even living in villages, suggesting a level of social organization. These creatures are often compared to Bigfoot of North America or the Yeti of the Himalayas. The origins of the Maroxy legends date back to the early explorers of the Amazon rainforest, when European explorers came back with stories of encountering fierce, hairy giants in the jungle. One of the most notable accounts came from British explorer Colonel Percy Fawcett, who in the early 20th century reported running into aggressive, hairy bipeds in the Brazilian jungle. His tales added fuel to the fire of the Maroxy legend. Today, there are mixed accounts about the reality of these creatures. Some attribute Maroxy sightings to misidentifications of known wildlife, such as the spectacled bear or large primates like the howler monkey. However, others suggest that the legend could be a cultural memory of encounters with uncontacted tribes, whose appearance and behaviors might have seemed strange or frightening to outsiders. Cryptozoologists today still believe in its existence, but we have yet to obtain solid and incontestable truth. Number 8. Ancient airplanes of the Incas. In the pre-Columbian settlements scattered across South America, archaeologists discovered curious artifacts, small objects that seem to resemble modern airplanes. These artifacts have something that looks like wings, stabilizing tails, and even landing gear. Now take a look at them. What do you think? These figurines are believed to be part of the Quimbaya artifacts, named after a pre-Columbian culture that lived in what is now Colombia. Scholars and archaeologists digging into the history and context of these artifacts generally agree that these figurines, dating back to around 1000 CE, likely represented animals, insects, or mythical creatures from the cosmology of the Quimbaya people. Despite the sentiment of experts, many continue to believe the theory that these artifacts actually portray modern airplanes. If this really is the case, this would mean that pre-Columbian people understood aerodynamics long before it was even put into theory in modern times. Did people with higher knowledge impart their technology to pre-Columbians, or are we simply misinterpreting these artifacts? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Number 7. Aria Amazon Towers Hotel. Nestled in the heart of the Amazon rainforest is the Aria Amazon Towers Hotel. Constructed in the late 1980s, the Aria Amazon Towers were built for guests interested in being closer to nature. Spanning almost 6 miles of elevated wooden catwalks, the Aria Amazon Towers allowed visitors to walk among the treetops. Think about it as a luxurious and comfortable way of camping without compromising the comforts you'd usually enjoy at a hotel. The hotel featured over 200 rooms, including luxurious suites and treehouses, each offering a panoramic view of the lush green expanse beyond. Its accommodations aside, the Aria Amazon Towers was a hub for conservation efforts and education about the Amazon rainforest. It hosted scientists and environmentalists who conducted research and offered workshops and lectures for guests about the importance of rainforest conservation. Now, it sounds like an astounding place on paper, but as they say, just because it works in theory doesn't mean it works in practice. Despite its popularity and acclaim, the Aria Amazon Towers Hotel faced challenges over the years. The difficulty in maintaining such a unique structure in the challenging environment of the Amazon, combined with economic and operational hurdles, eventually led to its closure. However, remnants of the structure remain in the Amazon to this day. Number 6. Glass frog. Imagine encountering a frog with transparent skin instead of the typical opaque appearance. If you ever find yourself in the Amazon, this is very much possible. Glass frogs belong to the family Centralenidae, which comprises over 150 species. Their skin is so transparent that you can see their hearts beating. Because they're see-through, it's quite easy for them to camouflage into their surroundings. During the day, these small frogs rest and remain motionless, taking advantage of their see-through skin. At dusk, however, they'll begin hunting for insects. Their delicate, almost ghostly appearance makes them both fascinating and slightly eerie to observe. In addition to their incredible camouflage, these frogs are also known for their strong parental instincts, with some species guarding their eggs until they hatch. Glass frogs are generally found near streams, where their transparent skin blends seamlessly with the wet leaves and rocks, making them difficult to spot for both predators and curious humans alike. They're truly astounding creatures that showcase the wonders of the Amazon's biodiversity. Number 5. Jesus lizard. This is the basilisk lizard, affectionately known as the Jesus lizard for one reason. Now, before I tell you why, let me share more about this creature. The Jesus lizard primarily dwells in the dense, humid rainforests from southern Mexico through to Panama. With a length of 2 to 2.5 feet and a weight of 7 ounces, this creature is quite a large reptile for its kind. However, its size doesn't hinder its defense mechanism. Its habitat is characterized by abundant water bodies, which play a crucial role in the lizard's defense strategy. When threatened, it dramatically sprints by paddling across the surface, seemingly walking on water. Yes, you heard that right. This creature can travel about 5 feet per second across the surface. With their long toes and fringes, they can easily increase the surface area they're stepping on. Combine that with their rapidly churning legs, which they slap on the water surface, and these guys can create a surface that keeps them from sinking. As long as the basilisk maintains this motion, it can walk across the water and travel up to 15 feet or more. Once exhaustion or gravity takes over, the basilisk won't simply sink but will rather swim until it reaches land. Number 4. Giant snake. The green anaconda, known scientifically as Unex murinus, is already renowned as the heaviest and one of the longest snakes in the world. Typically, these magnificent reptiles can grow to lengths of more than 5 meters, or about 16 feet. However, some reports claim sightings of anacondas up to 8 meters, or about 26 feet long. That's what scientists are trying to confirm. Recently, it was said that scientists working in the Amazon discovered a new species, said to be the biggest snake in the world. The team from the University of Queensland has been exploring the Ecuadorian Amazon's expanse in search of this previously undocumented northern green anaconda. While non-venomous, anacondas are behemoths that can grow to astounding sizes. With their muscle size and strength, they can still easily endanger a human, bringing them to the brink of death through suffocation, with a relatively high possibility of death. So far, they've heard accounts of people who saw a snake about 24.6 feet long and possibly 1,100 pounds, at least according to the locals in the area. Experts believe that if this creature exists, these creatures don't differ much from other green anaconda species. While they can grow larger than the rest of their species, the difference between their DNA is only about 5.5%. With the disappearing habitats of anacondas, however, scientists fear these creatures will cease to exist before we can even study them. Number 3. Pink dolphin. Many would argue that these dolphins aren't pink, but this is the name given to these light-colored dolphins that swim through the Amazon River. This makes them among the few saltwater animals that can adapt to travel in freshwater. These dolphins range from a soft light pink to a vibrant, almost neon pink. Their unique color can change due to their mood, age, or the temperature of the water. Pretty cool, right? These creatures are known for being among the most intelligent in the Amazon. After all, living in such a diverse wilderness requires them to be more skilled. Unlike ocean dolphins, pink dolphins have unfused neck vertebrae, allowing them to turn their heads 180 degrees. This allows them to look behind them without turning their entire body, which is incredibly useful for maneuvering around the flooded forests during the wet season when they're hunting for fish among the trees. Meanwhile, ocean dolphins don't need this adaptation because they hunt in the open sea. Unlike their kin thriving in saltwater, pink dolphins also learn not to be picky with their food. These guys feast on fish, crabs, and even tiny turtles. This diet allows them to thrive in an ecosystem constantly changing with the seasons. Now, there's also lore surrounding these creatures. It's believed that pink dolphins, also locally known as the bodo, are magical beings that can transform into humans and walk to the shore. In order to hide their blowhole, they wear hats. It's quite silly to imagine, but for the locals, disrespecting these creatures can mean imminent death or bad luck. Number 2. Plastic-eating mushroom. Most fungi feed on nutrients such as glucose, carbon, and nitrogen. That's why scientists were so surprised to find mushrooms in the Amazon that thrive by feeding on something different: plastic. This fungus, known scientifically as Pestilothiopsis microspora, was discovered by researchers from Yale University during an expedition to the Amazon. These organisms puzzled researchers due to their ability to consume and break down polyurethane, a common type of plastic found in everything from hard plastics to synthetic fibers. Even more impressively, it can do this in anaerobic environments, which means it could potentially be used to tackle waste in landfills, where much of our plastic ends up. Basically speaking, these organisms can feed in an environment with no oxygen. Interestingly, these creatures can produce an enzyme that breaks down the polymers in plastic, allowing them to digest it and turn it into organic matter. This process offers a glimmer of hope in our ongoing struggle with plastic waste, which can take hundreds of years to decompose in the environment, causing harm to wildlife and ecosystems. In the meantime, we still have a long way to go in the cultivation and utilization of this fungus, but their existence gives us hope. Number 1. Walking palm. I know it's hard to believe, but there's actually a tree in the Amazon that can walk. the walking palm. This tree has roots that elevate the trunk above the ground. These raised roots serve as its legs, but not in the way typical legs work. These roots help walking palms to, well, walk, but again, not in the way you're probably imagining. As the tree grows, it produces new roots that reach out towards sources of sunlight, while older, less valuable roots die off. This process can gradually shift the tree to better locations for light and resources. Technically speaking, this tree can walk very slowly as it changes and grows roots repeatedly over many years. In the soggy, unstable ground of the Amazon, the stealth-like roots offer stability during floods and protect the tree from soil erosion. What's particularly fascinating is that scientists have debated just how much movement actually occurs, with some saying the shifting is more symbolic than substantial. Regardless, the walking palm remains a curious example of nature's adaptability in the constantly changing environment of the rainforest. It's a remarkable natural strategy that has fascinated botanists and explorers alike for decades. These are just some of the strangest finds from the Amazon. If you know of more bizarre discoveries from its wild depths, feel free to leave a comment below. Also, don't miss the other cool content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.